Have you ever felt weighed down by past experiences, struggling to forgive, or wondering how to raise your energy to align with a more fulfilling life? Then this episode 476 is for you. Welcome to Personal Development Mastery, the podcast that helps intelligent, busy men and women develop self-mastery and discover their calling so you can thrive in a fulfilling, purposeful life. I'm your host, Agi Keramidas. By listening to this episode, you are going to learn practical techniques to identify and release emotional blocks that hold you back. And you will discover the power of forgiveness and how it can set you free from resentment and pain. Before we dive in, remember, my fellow mastery seeker, if you want to go deeper into the episode, join us at our free community, the Mastery Seekers Tribe, for more. Go to masteryseekerstribe.com. Now let's get started. Today it is my real pleasure to speak with Kerie Logan. Kerry, you are a therapist, coach, author, spiritual advisor, speaker, and podcaster. You have over 20 years of experience helping people live better lives, and you have been voted the best hypnotherapist in your area for an incredible 14 consecutive years. You are passionate about empowering individuals to live authentically and overcome challenges through a holistic approach that integrates mental health, spirituality, and personal growth. Kerry, I'm delighted to have this conversation with you today. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm very blessed to be here today. Thank you.
And I'm still smiling because I'm not going to reveal it yet, but we were talking about the intention of behind this conversation before we started recording, so I'm still smiling when I think of that. We can share it perhaps towards the end, if that's all right with you.
Whenever you're ready, we can share it.
Great. Kerry, I have a variety of things I would like to explore with you today, from raising your vibration to the different dimensions of human consciousness. There are so many things. Mental health, I already mentioned. Before we go there, I would like to hear a key defining moment in your life or in your career where things really changed as a result of that, so that we can get a little snapshot of a very important moment, perhaps.
Well, this is an interesting story. And so, like most people, I dived into the corporate world. I tried to make a life for myself, put a roof over my head, food in my belly, gasoline in my car. And when 9/11 happened here in the United States, our economy just plummeted. And I became unemployed. And I was running out of my second round of unemployment benefits. And the state said to me, "Oh, we'd hire you in a second if you spoke Spanish," but I didn't speak Spanish. And they said, "All we can do to help you," and I was a single mother at the time, "is we can help you put your stuff in storage, but you're going to be homeless." And that was, no one wants to hear that you're going to become homeless, because I just couldn't find a job. And they literally said that there was about probably 80 to 100 people sending in resumes for just one job. It was very, very challenging. So I went to a spiritual friend of mine, and she gave me a reading, and she said, "You've done everything you need to do here in Oregon, and the perfect job is waiting for you down in California." And at first I was like, I can't do that. I can't move back home because I'm from the Bay Area. I can't move back to California. I can't afford to live down there as a single parent. I can only afford to do that up here. And she said, "No, what you're meant to do, your purpose and meaning in life is there. And the job will literally be handed to you. You just need to have trust and faith." Well, like most people, I didn't want to listen to her. And so I fought it for a while. And the closer it got to where I couldn't get a job, I refused. I was not going to stay in a shelter. I was not going to live in my car with my daughter. So I called a family friend in Sacramento, and I told her my situation. can I stay with you? And she said, sure, no problem. So I took the state's offer, put my stuff in storage, and packed everything up in my car and drove down there. And a week later, I got a call from this gentleman that saw my resume on monster.com. And he said, hey, I'd really like to interview you. And all I knew was they wanted someone that wanted to do a positive difference in this life. And I was literally applying for a sales and marketing position. So I get there, and it was positive changes hypnosis. And I was excited because I did know about hypnosis. My background is my mother was involved in the inner peace movement in Berkeley, California. So I grew up learning about angels and creative visualization and meditation, how to work with your spirit guides. My mom would do readings for people. So I had that beautiful spiritual upbringing that I really admired. And I admired just the love and light in all these people that were in that community. So he's giving me a tour of this new facility that hasn't opened up, asked me, like, do you know about this, that? And I said, oh, yes. So he takes me in the conference room, and I had this 3-inch binder of all the things I've done. And I say, hey, do you want to see my portfolio? He's like, nope, I already was going to hire you the moment I read your resume. The job is yours. You just tell me. We'll talk about salary, vacation. No, it's yours. So she was right. It literally was handed to me. But here's a real interesting thing is they had me do a test. And this is kind of funny. And the test was to see what position I would be best in. Would it be management, sales and marketing, or as a hypnotherapist? And when I took that test, I failed in sales and marketing, but I got the highest score ever in hypnotherapy. And they were like, oh my God, we would have been pounding on your door saying, we need to hire you. And so they had me first start off in the sales and marketing, and I did so well. The first month of opening that center, they had gross sales than they've ever had before. I got free training in hypnotherapy, in cancer, weight loss, stop smoking, personal change, trauma, nutrition, all of that stuff. And I just thrived. I loved it. Well, because of my spiritual background, I started to weave in guided imagery, creative visualization. I started to weave in inner child work. And
sorry to interrupt you, but I want to go back for a moment because I think there is something very important also for the listener to get there.
Yes.
I understand that this was, the transition, and I'm so happy that you mentioned this leap of faith in a way that you took to leave your home place and go somewhere with only a promise, really, or a hope. I was wondering, what would you say? Because many people find themselves in situations that they have a message from their heart. In your case, it was a spiritual reading, but for some other people, it is a strong sense inside of them, calling them something. However, because of different hesitations, I'm sure as you had as well, which you overcame, because of some hesitations, they do not attempt this leap of faith. Is there something that you would like to share to that person? Perhaps they're listening right now.
I'm going to get there, and I'm going to get here really quick.
Sure.
So the day before Thanksgiving, I got in a disagreement with the receptionist, and I went to my manager and I said, I think she's trying to get me fired. And she said, actually, she is. And here's your final check. And I was the best one there. I literally was. That year, they actually gave me an award for being the best coach of the year. And I said, hey, I'm the best one here. I got 3 months of clients booked up. Why are you doing this? Why? And she said, well, she's family and you're not. But here's the thing is what I was doing is I was putting out into the universe, manifesting that I wanted to be self-employed because everyone was telling me I should have my own business. And so I did get fired. I got fired the day before Thanksgiving, being a single mom. And I went home and I said, God, if this is my calling, my purpose, what I am meant to do, give me a sign that is so clear I cannot mistake it because I love what I do. This is my calling. I'm completely letting go, having complete faith in you, taking this leap of faith. And so the very next day, a friend of mine, or a client that actually became a friend, was coming over for Thanksgiving, and she felt really bad about what happened. And she said, I have a gift for you. And I have been sitting on this nest egg for a while, and I know you're meant to do this. And I want to give this to you, no strings attached. And inside the Thanksgiving card was a check for $10,000. And she said, I want you to start your own business. And when I told Michael Porter about it, he said, the universe had to kick you in the butt because you were so dedicated and loyal to us, she would not have willingly left on your own. And so sometimes we do have to take that leap of faith. And the other kicker too is I called that woman after I prayed and I left her a voicemail and I thanked her for firing me. I literally thanked her and I said, I'm going to look back at this as a blessing in disguise. So thank you for giving me this gift. I had no bitterness, no anger, no resentment. And literally the universe carried me exactly where they wanted me to go. So I hope that answers that question.
That shows what you just said now, such a huge, the word surrendering comes to mind, acceptance and trust and of life unfolding in the best possible way for us, even though it might seem on the outside or from my point of view, it might seem that it is not.
Well, and I forgave her. I forgave her too.
That is also very, very important, especially at that time, not looking back at it and in hindsight, but at that time, I think also there is a very beautiful lesson to be learned there when we start seeing things as unfolding for our good. Is that how you see it?
Yes, because what I've learned about what I teach, the master of the upper rooms, it is about letting go that anger, that bitterness, that resentment. And I could have stayed angry, bitter, and resentful towards this woman. And I believe that would have energetically held me back from what I really needed to surrender and step into. I think it would have limited my possibilities. And I had to rise above it because that is how we raise our frequency and our vibration, is letting go of those lower density emotions that we have and finding forgiveness and trusting and releasing and being optimistic and accepting and finding meaning, to the whole thing and just lining up with love, becoming one with our creator again.
Kerry, I would like you to expand on this answer, especially, the part of raising the vibration. It is something that I also was planning to ask you about. So it's great that you steered it towards there. What I'm looking for, because you mentioned so many things in a very, very brief period of time, can you give us maybe a couple of practical, quite, powerful methods, techniques, tools, however you want to call them, that one can utilize in order to raise the vibration? Because it is a great phrase to use, but someone might not be exactly sure how to do it. You mentioned already in your sentence quite a few, but I would like you to maybe go into a little bit more detail into one or two as actions, as practices one can do.
Okay. So I did this one actually on myself, and I did this one last night on myself. And it's going to sound kind of interesting and maybe a little strange, but I love to play on my PC. I love to play games. And there's one game I really like to play, and it's called New World. And they have these invasions. And when I played the other day, I got an amazing score I got a 3 out of 38 players. So I was way up there, high tier. And I was so excited that on the Discord group, I announced that, woo, I'm so excited. I got 3rd place out of 38. Even though we didn't win the invasion, I got that high score. So 50 minutes later, there was another invasion that I signed up for, and they didn't pick me. And I was like, what the heck? I just, I'm really good at this. I mean, my average score is like between 8 to 11 out of 51 players. I help, win this. And so I kind of took it personal. So I started to think about it, and I said, okay, there's something stuck in my energy field. What is it? What is stuck? And and when I quieted my mind and I went within, I realized that, yeah, it was my stepbrothers. I grew up with 2 stepbrothers and 2 other brothers. I had no sisters. And my brothers always told me, you're not good enough. We're better than you. You can try to be as good as us, but we're always going to be better than you. And when I thought about that, of all the years and years and years of hearing that garbage fed into my mind, that I'm inadequate as a woman, I'm incompetent, this and that, that explained why I strive to, when I play a game, to be the best at what I can be. And so what I did was I saw them before me, and I forgave them. I forgave the situation. I forgave the energy around the situations. And I literally, because memories are like pop beads. When you think about it, a string of pop beads in line. And I forgave that whole series of pop beads of all the times they told me I wasn't good enough, that I don't matter. A man is more important than a female. And when I cleared it, and then I forgave myself, and I forgave the energy around me, and for believing that thought, and for allowing that thought to influence and interfere with my happiness and my joy. And when I released it all up, and I forgave everything in the situation, this morning when I woke up, I thought about that scenario, and it doesn't bother me. I felt completely clear. And the best time to do this stuff is when you're getting ready for bed, because it takes your body a while to process all this information and to clear it. And so to me, I just feel like I gave myself a gift. So let's say if there's an invasion tonight and I'm not picked, I'm not going to care about it. I'm going to be like, I got better things to do with my, other things I can do in this game. I won't take it personal. And that's just one small example. As I rose up out of the disappointment, out of, feeling like, this is really messed up. I had the courage to do it. I trusted that I could do it. I released it. I forgave. And I found the reasoning and meaning behind it. And then I lined up back to love. And that's how you do it. It's really simple. It's easy. But you have to quiet your mind and go within and ask, where does this come from? Where? And I got the answer, because all the answers lie within us.
I agree very much with your very, very last comment of that all the answers lie within us. I will reiterate a few things in my own words, because this is fascinating, and thank you, because you gave exactly what I was looking for, practical things. Even you even specified the time when it's ideal to do those things. And I wrote the question, what is stuck in my energy field, blocking whatever it is that is blocking, and where does it come from? I think these are powerful questions. And you said even before this particular answer, you were mentioning forgiveness. So it has been mentioned quite a few times now in the conversation. And I liked so much how what you said was to find reason and meaning, because that
Yes.
allows the forgiveness, because it might be difficult to forgive depending on what it is for different people. Finding the meaning and the reason for this and going back to love, as you said, I find that a very helpful way of processing an event and finding that forgiveness within us. So I don't know if you want to add anything else to this. I find it fascinating.
So the way I kind of look at it is, when we're born, we're like a ball of clay. And we are so conditioned by our parents, society, religion, culture, just our teachers, our peers, our friends. And we take in all this information. And that's the key thing, is it's just information. Memories are just ideas of what happened to us that we experienced. And it accumulates and it builds up within our energy field and system. Think about it as rocks, rocks or stones being stuck in your pockets, and you're carrying all this heavy weight, lower vibrational weight of anger, disappointment, fear, frustration, shame, guilt, all that. It just weighs you down, and you walk throughout your life every day carrying this burden. And when we stop, and especially what I tell people, and this is what I do for me. So I got triggered, and I recognized I got triggered because I took it personal. I didn't get invited to the next invasion. Like, what the heck? Why? And that was my trigger warning. Ooh, there's something inside you, Kerry, that you got to clear. And so that was my opportunity. Instead of looking at it as a problem and, this person just doesn't like me or whatever, I looked at it as an opportunity to go within and pull that rock out and find where that rock is and why that rock exists and how I can let it go. Because, yeah, my brothers were jerks. I mean, how many siblings, are nice to each other sometimes? We do mean things to our siblings. Let's be honest. I mean, my brother was here for Thanksgiving, and he was telling everyone how I would dress him up as a girl because I wanted a sister so bad. And I literally felt like, oh, dude, I should do a clearing with you on that. I'm sorry even though I said I'm sorry, please forgive me. He probably still has that stuck in his energy field and has resentment towards me about that. And so it is going in, like you said, and finding that understanding and that reasoning, because it was so outdated. The stuff that I had inside me, it was so outdated. It doesn't matter anymore. It has no importance at all, period. But it was impacting me because I took it personal. And I had to do the work. I had to say to myself, I'm important. I matter. I deserve to feel good. I deserve to have harmony and peace in my life, not to take, this small little thing personal. And I had to have the courage. And that's the very first step into 4D human consciousness, is courage. And that's self-empowerment, where I'm permitting myself to do something different. The next step is trust and release. That's also in 4D human consciousness. There's optimism, there's willingness, there's hopefulness. There's the forgiveness. It's all that. And that's why I say we meet people that are adults in their body, but they are immature in their mind. And why they're immature in their mind is they have not evolved into the 4D human consciousness range, which is being flexible. Not everything is black and white. Being forgiving, being understanding, agree to disagree, to no longer strive to be perfect, to stop beating yourself up and hating your body. Because when we rise up out of those lower dense vibrational thought patterns, and up into 4D and 5D, that inner critic voice you have, it quiets. It's no longer telling you you're stupid, you're not good enough, you're worthless. It literally goes away because you healed yourself. Nobody else did it. You did it for you. So everything that is below the energetic frequency, and if anyone wants to look it up, you can look up the map of human consciousness by David Hawkins. And what was fascinating is in 2012, when I channeled my first book, I channeled this information, but I was told to separate it into 3D, 4D, and 5D. And when I tried to get a hold of him and say, do you know what you discovered? Because I was told this is the roadmap to the kingdom of heaven. Literally, you want to become one with your creator, one with love who made us, because we are beings of light and love. This is how you do it. Exactly how you do it. But he died that same exact year. So I was just guided to coach everyone how to align to the vibration of love. And when I worked with people and I did that, the results were amazing, amazing, amazing. Just blew people's minds. And so anyone can do this for themselves. And I look at it as I don't own the rights to any of this. This was a gift I received from up above. It is a gift for everybody on this planet. And we've heard people talk about this new earth that's happening. We are raising our consciousness. This is how we do it. There are steps. If you listen to Paul Selig, if you listen to Sarah Landon, all of those guides tell you the same exact thing. Same exact thing.
Thank you so much for this answer. I noted the phrase you said, to rise out of the low vibrational thought patterns, and that's in my mind it resonated as a phrase. It made complete sense of what you said. As for the aligning with the vibration of love, I wish we had way much more time to discuss this, because it is also truly fascinating. However, I will have to start wrapping things up, Kerry, today. This has been a truly wonderful conversation, so thank you again. Where do you want to direct the listener who has appreciated this conversation and hopefully has found it inspiring and would like to find out more about aligning with this, the vibration of love that you just said?
Well, I think the best way to end this is instead of looking at it as why did a lot of people, we see it in movies all the time. And I've even done this myself where I got so angry. I'm like, God, why are you doing this to me? Why? Why are you punishing me? Why did this happen? That's separation, because God is in everything. It's everywhere. And what I should have been doing is, what do I need to learn from this experience? What is this experience trying to teach me? What do I need to let go? What do I need to forgive? What do I need to do? And that's connection. And so the most important thing is to realize that we are here on this earth to have joy and happiness and love and peace and harmony. We are not meant to be destructive towards each other. I mean, in the past, being in survival mode, that did work because that's how our species were. We don't have to be that way anymore. We can be peaceful, more loving beings. And so the real gift is to just, whenever you get triggered by anything, write it down and then go within and really explore why that triggered you. And see if you can find a way to release it. And it's hard, I know, for forgiveness, because some people say there are evil people out there that you can't forgive. And I have done this on someone that I would say would be a monster, evil. And when you know you've completely forgiven them, you can see them on social media, you can see their flyer, whatever it is, and it doesn't bother you. I even did this with a family member. And when I saw them again and I was like, hey, how you doing? Smiling and happy. They went over to my brother and they were like, what is wrong with her? Is she on drugs? I was like, no, I'm free of you. You can't hook into me anymore. And that's a gift I gave me. And I want everyone on this planet to experience that gift.
Thank you. That is so beautiful. That is so beautiful. And forgiveness, it is all about ourselves. It's never about the other person. It is ourselves that it is involved. Kerry, I have two quick questions that I would like to ask you. And the first one is, what does personal development mean to you?
Personal development means to me is finding your authentic self. It's not what your parents think or society or any of that. What is your heart, your spirit calling for you? Because you chose up there before you came down to have a purpose, to learn something, to be whatever it is you want to be. Let's say you want to be a violinist or a famous artist, but your parents don't want you to do that. They want you to run the family business. Well, you're going to have to line up to courage, which is 4D human consciousness, to speak your truth and go down that path. Or are you going to let someone else dominate and control your choices?
And the hypothetical question, if you could go back in time and meet your 18-year-old self, what's one piece of advice you would give her?
Oh, I would tell her, learn about trauma bonding relationships, learn about narcissism, learn about attachment styles. Learn about all that stuff, because I didn't know anything about that. And if I would have known all of that, I would have picked different partners. 100%.
Kerry, I want to thank you so much for this conversation. I was taking notes, literally. I took a page of notes with what you were saying, because they were very useful and actionable things. So I truly hope that the intention we had set to inspire the listener to look inside them and, realize some of the things that you were talking about. I believe it has been really fulfilled. I want to wish you all the very best with what you're doing and with your life.
Thank you.
And I will leave it to you for your final parting words of wisdom.
Well, I'll share what we were kind of sharing in the beginning about the intention. And I was watching a show with my husband. It was season finale. And he said, I think everyone in the show has mental health issues. And I said, let's pause this. And I paused it and I said, okay, I want you to look at the people you worked with. How many people had anxiety, addictions, couldn't manage their money properly, were stuck in grief or regret, or, were very shy and just, wanted to hide. And then there were people that were just mean and evil and, demanding and prideful. If you took your whole corporation, because he was a chief financial officer, if you could take that whole corporation and say, how many people had mental health issues but didn't realize it, what number would you give? He said, 100%. Everybody, 100%. And I said, exactly. That's why this work is so important, is I don't want those people to be struggling in life like that. I want them to have peace and happiness and joy and harmony and manage their money better, get over their addictions, not have anxiety. That's why this work is so important to me, and what speaks to me wants this for humanity.
I hope you have found this episode enlightening. And I ask for one simple, quick favor. If you like this podcast, think of someone else you know who might find it useful and share it with them. By doing so, you'll not only help the podcast grow, but also add value to people you care about. So thank you. And until next time, stand out, don't fit in,